I take back what I said about this new essence, and here's why.
So the essence I'm talking about is Chisel of the Architect. So with this one, Arcane Wind now unleashes an icy cyclone in a targeted direction that explodes upon contact with an enemy or upon reaching its final destination. This icy explosion damages and chills nearby enemies, freezing those that were already chilled. Arcane Wind damage is increased by 18% and damage increased 10% from the Awakened slot. So I'm going to be testing this out in a challenge rift today, and I'm below the combat rating for this challenge rift by quite a significant amount. I think it's about 1000 combat rating below roughly, or 800, something like that. You can see monster difficulty very high. We've got the red hazard sign on for this. So I'm basically using the standard spam build that a lot of people use. The only difference is I've gone with my highest combat rating gear, so I don't necessarily have the exact set items I want. I do have sets active, which I will talk through at the end. I think I managed to get a few of the active sets that I wanted in this build, and I'm using the exact same essences as normal for the rest of the spam build. The only change is this Arcane Wind. Now, the reason for that is because you don't have to give so much of a specific location for it. It kind of seems to aim towards the enemies that you want it to go towards, which is helpful when you play on mobile, because it can be really difficult to aim your skills when you're spamming buttons on mobile, because obviously it's such a small area that you're actually working to when you are activating those skills, let alone having to try and position them all at the same time with your thumbs. So this seemed to work quite nicely on the mobs. I was quite impressed at how quickly it was taking mobs down. I left the mobs behind that I was playing against because I was looking for elites, and I found plenty of them at this part of the map. This literally, I have never seen so many elites in one area of a map in a challenge rift in my whole life. So this hopefully will be my saving grace, although at the same time it is going to be pretty difficult to take all of these elites down at the same time. So this build, as I said, seems to work nicely against mobs. I don't know how it's going to perform against the boss once we get the boss to spawn. Obviously we've got a long way to go for that yet, and my phone battery is also dying. We've got the 20% battery health left, or battery life, sorry. So yeah, not the best place to be while trying to do a challenge rift. So hopefully my phone won't die before I finish filming this video. But yeah, having these elites is definitely going to help. We do also have the tower for my clan, which gives you the increased drop of the progress orbs in challenge rifts, so this will definitely help with completing this as well. So currently I rank 11th on the leaderboard. Until this morning I was actually ranked at like rank 38, so I decided to push my rank a little bit more. I wanted to get back in the top 10, and if I get a decent enough time on this rift I should be back in the top 10, which would be quite nice. I'm one of the lowest resonance players to actually be in that kind of position. So all of those mobs are finally down and we're going to try this on the boss now. So we've got Crusader King, not the worst boss that we could get for this. I did have a rift before this. I did rift 535 and I got Sand Shaper, and as you can imagine it took me ages to actually take him down. I died so many times, and I think with this rift I'm probably going to die a few times just from his summons. Having the archers always takes my butt down, but obviously with this Arcane Wind it is also freezing, and I've paired this with Older Crystal offhand. I will show top line the essences I'm using at the end of this video. I'll just talk through what essences I'm using, and then I'll get you to recommend to pause the video or screenshot the video when I go through those essences. Now I was just waiting for my skills to come back. So normally when I die in these things and have a decent amount of time on the clock like we do for this, I normally stay down until my skills have refreshed. Especially with the spam build, you need that slow time to be active. So I can't even talk. There's no point in trying to revive when your slow time isn't going to be active. You want to revive when that slow time is active, so you can literally hit that and start spamming your skills instantly. It will be much more beneficial than actually reviving before those skills are ready. I made a really foolish mistake there. I got way too close to Crusader King, and that was my demise there. So you can see I again waited until my cooldown was ready on the slow time there. So just to give you an idea, we are taking 711 more damage, and dealing 87% less damage with this because of my combat rating in comparison to the required combat rating for this challenge rift. So quite a big difference there. We've still got quite a lot of health to take down on Crusader King. I'm really hoping I can do this because I wanted to make this video. But yeah, the Arcane Wind essence seems to work really nicely against the mobs for sure. Not so much against the boss, but obviously if you have an armory pet, you can see here my skills went in completely the wrong direction back there. If you have an armory pet, you could obviously use this build for clearing the mobs and then use a more boss specific build for the boss fight at the end. That's something that I'd recommend, but yeah, not everyone has an armory pet. I've never been able to craft one at this point, and I do not waste my platinum on pets anymore. It just seems like a total waste of time. Unless you're guaranteed a legendary pet with some of the skills that you actually want to have active. So as I already mentioned, I'm probably going to die quite a lot against the boss, but I'm going to try not to die too many times because I really want to get my rank 10 position back, or get back into the top 10 for challenge rifts. It's just like a personal accomplishment thing. I'm not someone that does lots of min-maxing, as you know. And I know that my skills keep going off in the wrong direction. It's because I'm just literally spamming my buttons, and unfortunately, as I said, on mobile it's really difficult sometimes to position your skills exactly where you want them, or you drag them and they don't go exactly where you want them to. But this is at least helping take down some of his mobs, because he is just like constantly spawning them at the moment before the previous mob has even died. And I might die again here. I've just taken a big hit there. I think it might have been one of the archers. I mean, he's summoning more of them. Oh my god. Look, he's got like 2 armies already. This sucks. I really hope I can finish this rift. But yeah, this was more about the new essence, the Chisel of the Architect. It seems to be really effective against the mobs because it's freezing them. If you're using it with other freeze skills, other freeze essences or set items, it's definitely going to help more with actually giving that CC. So definitely think it's good for challenge rifts, especially, as I said, against mobs. For me, I've seen a big difference using this instead of the normal Arcane Wind essence. I tried doing this previously with the one that a lot of people use, the Mistral Rend. And for me, that wasn't really doing much, which is why I wanted to change up the set items and change up, obviously, to test this new essence out as well. A lot of people have been saying they've been enjoying the new wizard essences, so instead of just shooting them all down, like I already did, I thought, no, I'm going to give this one a try. I think we should take him down in a few seconds, hopefully before he kills me again. And rift complete in 7 minutes and 19 seconds. So not bad at all. I've seen a lot of people complete the rifts more in like the 9-minute range. So I'm quite happy with that result overall. And yeah, definitely helped by having that new essence for Arcane Wind from the new main hand, sorry. So I'm going to go through top line what I'm using. I'm not going to read it all out. For set items, I'm using 4 pieces of Feasting Barons. So this increases the duration of your harmful effects and increases damage done by all sources from all sources by 20%. So harmful effects increased by 30%. All sources increased by 20%. 2 pieces of Vitus increase the duration of all beneficial effects or you on your party members for 30%. And Prayer of End Winter. So I'm using 2 pieces of this so that I have that chill coming from a set item, as well as obviously having it from the new main hand, Chisel of Architect, and the older crystal. So Terminus Facade on the helm. Again, if you want to read the descriptions, just pause the video. Coat of the Astrum on the chest. This is pretty much the same setup I've had previously. War Mage Mantle on the shoulder. I've used this setup quite a few times in Challenge Rift, although I'm going to look at changing it to see if I can push it any further. Raptor's Tail on the pants. So this one's for Disintegrate as well. Chisel of the Architect, as you know, on the main hand, as we already read the description at the beginning. So yeah, as I said, take screenshots if you want to see all the details on these. Older Crystal on the main hand, first offhand, sorry. Thunderbird's Bite on the alternate main hand. And then we're using Trifling Piffle on the alternate offhand. And I have Detested active as my Reforge or Curse property. These are the legendary gems: Bloodsoaked Jade, Starfire Shard, Roiling Consequence, Bloodflow, Void Spark, Bottled Hope, Wolfjort, and Colossus Engine. And then for Paragon, I'm using Slinger, and you can see I've got Careful Aim, Sharp Eye, Precision, Bloodthirst, and Deadly Intent active. And then lastly, the other thing, I actually have the wrong legendary skill active. I don't know why Shock Barrier is active because I never activated that. I only ever use Lightning Rod, so that's super weird. But yeah, going with lightning rod, it would work better in this setup. And lastly, obviously, warband buff. So I'm using the attacker buff from my warband. So damage done is increased by 3.5%. Critical hit chance increased 2%. Increase your damage dealt by 1% for 2 seconds. Every time you deal damage, the effect will stack up to 10 times. But it disappears when you take damage. Increase critical hit chance by 3% when above 70% of your total life. And increase critical hit damage by 10% when your critical hit chance is greater than 70%. So this works nicely with my gem setup. So that's it from me for this video. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. I don't think it's not yet updated. It still says I'm at 535. So I'm going to log out and log back in and see if we can get a better look at that. So we managed to end up ranking 8th, which is much better than it would have been if I'd used the original setup of this. I do find that this Arcane Wind is much better because it gives you that CC from the Chisel of the Architect essence. I think it's definitely worth trying in the Challenge Rift if you've not yet done this yourself. Let me know if you're going to test this out. Let me know if you've used this essence yet, and if you're using it in a spam build or if you're using it in a different build. And as always, I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.
Official Diablo Partner.